Hi, it's Tim, Grandad's Workshop. Started making a bird table for a little old lady, otherwise known as the mother-in-law. So I'll show you what we've got so far. We basically got the stand more or less finished. So all it is, a bit of 2x2, basically the centre pole. And these, I'll tell you what measurements I've got. I've done that at 41 inch, a bit random, I don't know why it's 41, but anyway, that's what the centre piece is. Then your four legs are all 16 inch. You've got a 45-degree cut at the top and the opposing 45 on the foot end. So you want four of them. I've just put a couple of screws in the top. That is a foot from the floor. Bang one in there all the way around, and then the only other piece is just to support those legs. I mean, it's total overkill. Again, it's just what I had kicking around. It's 4 inch by 3/4. So if you start this one from that edge and then it comes out, you want the same 45-degree cut, just cut it flush with that leg, a couple of screws in either end, and then spin it round, and then from that side of the centre section start your next one. They actually work out at 9.5 inch at the bottom. What are you eating now? My dog's here eating something. And 6 inch at the top, but as I say, if you just start with a nice square edge there, and then you can scribe it off, pencil mark it, whatever you want to do, at 45 degrees, and then just keep going around so you've got all your four legs in there. So that's your base done, simple as. But then, as I say, that's already treated, but they're not, so I'm going to treat the whole lot when we've finished it. So that's that. So we'll go and cut the first pieces for the top of the table. So we can get a 6 inch square out of that one, and then we've got another piece which is nearer 3/4, and we're going to get a 12 inch piece out of that. So those two, once they're cut out, will make the base for our actual bird table at the top. That's our 12 inch square. Let's rustle up a 6 inch square out of this. So we decided in the end, we've gone out the same block essentially, both 5/8, 3/4 thick. We've got 12 inch square feeder table base and 6 inch square. So that essentially goes underneath, and then that's where the little dicky birds will be having the nosh. So we've got to build some 4 pillars at the corners and obviously the top. We're on the pull down saw, the mitre saw. We've whipped it round to 45 degrees and we've just chopped the 4 legs that go from the base of the feeding table up to the top. So we're going to have, when it's finished, it'll be at the 4 corners. I'll show you on here, look. So it's going to be our base, and the dicky birds are having the nosh, and these bad boys will go, depending which way the apex is, we can decide on that. We've given them a 45-degree cut, and the length from the tallest piece to the bottom is 8.5 inches, but again, it's not crucial. If you fancy the top of the table a bit taller, by all means, or a bit smaller so the cats can't get in or something, I don't know. So we're going to go back to the miter saw while we're still set at 45 degrees, and I've not measured these for length yet, so I'm just going to create 45-degree cuts on the ends and then we'll measure them up. Okay, so the edges, which obviously keeps the bird feed in, and where our corner pieces are going to go, we've got our 45-degree cut there, and they're going to go not on top of the table, but they're going along the edge, so not on the top but along the edge, and then we'll you can either nail it or put a couple of screws in, your preference. So we need to mark off where we're going to put our next 45-degree cut, so that'll be in that corner there, and I always put a line so I know we want to cut it that way, because I've done it before and cut that way, which pretty much knackers it up. So that's our first piece cut, so that's lined up with the square edge there and there, and you've got your 45-degree. So that's one. I'm going to crack on, cut the other three. So that is that. We've cut all the sides of the, let's call it the seed tray, I suppose, whatever. They're all mitered and 45-degree miters. Just a little screw now, along maybe 2-3 screws just into the board itself. But like I say, mitering them is probably a touch of overkill. So if you haven't got a miter saw, or you can't be bothered, because let's be honest, it's a bird table at the end of the day. Just overhang your wood the same depth as the wood is, and then just do square butts like that. It's not going to make any. I don't think the birds are going to judge on it, to be fair, but hey ho, there you go, that's what I did. So you do whatever you want to do. So we're nearing the assembly section now. So we've got our 12-inch square 3/4 thick ply. We call that the feeding table. That's going to go underneath that and on top of the actual stand. So we're going to fix them together shortly. We've got the 4 strips which go around the feeding tray, and we've got our 4 corner pieces, so which are square at the bottom and a 45-degree angle, which on reflection could be a bit shallower, but anyway, that's what I've done, about 45 degrees. So we want a piece that's going to tie the ends together and meet the apex of the roof. There's 12-inch between the corner posts, just under perhaps. So if I do these boards at 13, so they're just going to come past slightly, and then we want half of that, so 6.5, and do the other one the same, so 19.5, and cut it off there at 26. we've marked them off. The two pieces are going to be 13 inches long, and we're going to go from the corners so we're going to cut 45 degree there and 45 degree there, and then the same on the other piece. So that's your two pillars. That's your gable end, and that's your roof tiles. Now these, as I say, just what I've found. Should just do nicely. They're a bit rough, but it is only a bird feeding stand. So just to save on a bit of cost. I don't know where they came from. Some sort of cladding. It's 4.5 inches deep, and without even having to cut them, the perfect length, 16 inch, which is going to be lovely jubbly. They slot into each other, so hang a bit of glue on there. We're starting to get a bit of a, this is like our flat pack here. We've got our roof tiles, we've got our 4 edges which are 45 degree beveled on each end. Make sure that the bevel goes the same way, both sides. You don't want that and then that. So it's easy done it. So you've got 4 of them. You've got your 2 gable ends, which, as I said, for me have worked out. I've just used what I had again, and that's sort of just over 5.5 inches deep, and at the bottom it's 13 inches, and then from each corner I've just done a 45 degree cut, so they should slot into place. That's our 6-inch square top of the pole, let's call that. There's our 4 corner columns, square edge at the bottom, 45 degree cut at the top. They're all to the tallest bit there, 8.5 inches, and then our 12-inch square feeder table base. So we've got all our pieces now. This is like our flat pack. So we've got to get our little 6-inch block on top of the stand. So what I thought we'd do, I mean there's various ways. You could probably just get away with a couple of decent screws, but I'm just a little worried when we get the 12-inch feeding tray on top of that. There's quite a lot of weight, so I don't know if this is going to be better than 2 screws or not. But what I thought I would use is an 8mm wood screw. I think they call them wood inserts or timber inserts, and it's basically the outside threads into the wood and it cuts its way in, and then this is an 8mm one, so I've got an 8mm cap head screw, all stainless steel. So once you've got that into your wood, then you use your cap head screw. I'm going to put a big wide washer on it as well to sort of spread the load. So, and you just put these in with an Allen key. So that's what I'm going to try, and then we'll mark the same as we did on there. We'll go corner to corner, like so, and that'll give us our centre. So we're going to drill. I think what the trick with these is, if that's an 8mm timber screw insert, then it seems to be that you add on roughly 3mm. So if it's an 8mm internal size, we want to be drilling an 11mm hole into the top of our post, and then that should cut its way in, and then we can put our 8mm cap head into that. So that's the theory. Let's give it a whirl, see how we go on. So we'll do our 11mm hole first, which should be just right for the outside diameter of the our screw insert. It should just do. Right. There we go. So that's what it looks like when it's in. We're going to use a 4 bit to accommodate essentially this washer and cap head screw. So just want to sink it in a little bit. I think 32mm will do it. So all I'm doing for this is corner to corner, a straight edge, same again, just from the two corners, give us our centre. I'm going to use little 4s and a bit, just to go in and make like a countersink into there, and then drill an 8mm hole. So there you go, that's a 32mm 4s and a bit countersink. So we need to drill an 8mm hole. That's in nice and straight, and we'll be able to sit the base on top of it without that head protruding through. So we want to get the plate for the top of the post in the centre of our feeding tray. And just mark off our square. We need to drill full holes so we can screw through into the plate. Obviously this is all going to go that way when we're done. Just mark these off, one in each corner. We're also going to need to drill, that's the drain hole, because obviously water's going to sit on it. We're just going to try and pick up where we left off in the last little clip, because the camera decided to turn itself off. Could be because I didn't plug it in. Basically all we're trying to do now is try and do this one-handed. is use our cap head screw stroke bolt and the big washer. Just push them into the recess that we made, and then that will screw into the internal thread that we've already put into the top of the shaft there. So when we put the top piece on the actual feeder section itself, sit nice and flush, we'll put 4 bolts, screws rather, into there, and it's at this point that you could, if you chose, drill right through from the base of the feeder right through this top block and use a bolt with a butterfly nut, and that way you could lift the top off, which would make it a lot easier to transport the 2 bits separately, but then very quickly fasten them back together. So that's an either or. I'm going to use screws, as I say. We've got our top on now, and our four drain holes. I've just put 1/2 inch, and then we're just going to put our 4 edges on. So I'm just going to offer that up so that the bottom's flush with the bottom of the table. So that's the depth of the tabletop. I want roughly half of that. Not too shabby, is it, for a dicky bird table? Right, so that's them. So we're going to crack on with these 4 corner pillars. So what we'll do is, because they're all the same, so it doesn't matter, we're just going to start up where you can see. We're just going to put it flush into the corner. Just draw a little box right. Do that on all 4. Like so. And then we're just going to make a drill hole in the, and we're just going to drill a hole roughly in the centre, actually bang on all 4 of them. Bang, 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 enough for rock and roll. Drill them. I'm going to screw up from underneath into the base of the pillar. I said it doesn't really matter which one goes where, it's just that if you're having two, if we're going that way, make sure they're both going that way, so when you put your roof on it'll sit with the angle of the pillars. So obviously the other side, the pillars, the angle needs to be the opposite. So let's get them into place. So, what we need to do now is get our gable ends on. So, let's see that really, but we want the same overhang. On the edge at both sides, as near as makes no difference. So about 3/4 of an inch overhang at both sides, so we'll just mark our hole. So our hole's going to go pretty much into the centre of the pillar. Right, these two are the same, so I should be able to just put them together. Just always a hole through there. Through both of them. So you don't need to do that, but just hold them both together and use your hole through for your screws. Obviously now we're going to try and get them flush with the slopes, 45 degrees. 4 posts and 2 gable ends on there. So that's my bit of cladding. It quite lends itself quite well. That view, well, that view is better. Maybe that gives you a better idea. I need them to more or less meet at the top, because then I haven't got any, so I might try and make some with a router. Just want this piece of we need a bit of L-shaped wood just to sit on the top and create like the tile effect. And I thought I had some and I cannot find it, so I might better just make a piece. If we go to the bottom edge of the gable end, that's going to take us pretty close to where they're going to meet, and then we'll just put some L-shaped stuff across the top. We want it touching the bottom, more or less, and the same amount over at each side. That's where we're going to be screwing it. If we screw it in, that's the middle of the gable end. Just go all the way up, and then we can have an extra screw into the sturdy post. So let's do that. What we'll do for that is we'll just go again, nails more than appropriate for this, I would think, but I'm gonna screw it, but I'm gonna put screws in. Seems a habit of a lifetime now. Shouldn't affect some holes any. A bit shorter than that, the bottom. These bad boys do that. Just angle off a bit. Okay, so that's our first side of roof tiles on. So again, we'll just mark, because we're going to be hiding it, so we don't know exactly where it is. Little mark on there. A couple in there. So, see if we can make our ridge tiles. It's got a little piece of timber here. We're going to cut that off the length. I need to square it up first because it's not square, it's 1.25 that way, 1.5 that way, so we need to take that down to 1.25. Let's start with a square piece. So my camera's playing up again here, so I'm not sure what we've got on film this time round, but if you haven't seen it, we've just cut this L shape out on the table saw, and it's all very, very thin edges. Same on the actual top of the roof tiles. So we've drilled some holes. There we go.